In this tutorial, we will have Naomi go through how to create the design in Canva, how to upload into the Custom Sublimation Transfers product on the website, and also how to apply onto a Sublimation-ready mug. So let's get started.
Today, I'm going to teach you how to create step and repeat patterns in Canva in a quick and easy way so that you can upload them to Bright Star Crafters and have custom printed sublimation transfers, HTV, and adhesive vinyl. You are going to love this. First step, head to Canva, click Create a Design, change it to inches. You're going to make sure that this is set to 12 by 12, which obviously mine was, and click Create New Design. Okay, here we are. The next step is to have an image ready that you want as your step and repeat pattern. I've got this little picture of my son that I took a long time ago. I've dragged it from my desktop straight into the Canva canvas, and now it's uploading, and it's done. I'm going to click Edit Image up the top here to remove the background by clicking Background Remover. We'll give it just a second. Ta-da! It's done. All right, now the next part of our process is really quite simple. What we're going to do is minimize this just a little bit by dragging the bottom corner up towards the top left. We'll move this picture. Now, you want to make sure that your picture is selected. We're going to copy it. On my computer, I press Command-C. You might like to right-click it like this and go to Copy. You could right-click inside your canvas again and say Paste. All right, we're getting somewhere. My next step is to go to Flip. I'm going to flip it horizontally, and I'm going to flip it vertically. You don't necessarily have to do this for a repeat pattern, but I want to make mine a little bit freaky. It's a bit of an optical illusion situation happening here. And I'm just making sure that the seams kind of lined up. They line up. And I think that they're just fine there. Okay. Now, my next step is I'm going to select both of these. Now, there are a few ways to do it. On my computer, I can select Command and A, and that will select everything on the screen. Or if you're just a bit of a novice, this is another way you can do it. You can select the picture, one of the pictures, press Shift, and select the second picture as well. And then you can hit this button up here called Group. And now those two pictures are kind of welded together until you ungroup them again. All right. Now, to make sure that I keep my images sort of lined up really nicely, I'm going to keep these at this size just for a little bit. So the next step is to click on it. You'll notice that it selects both of them. And I'm going to copy and paste this again. So I'm going to go Command-C. And I'm going to press Command-V because that's paste on my computer. All right. And I want to line these up the way that I would like them to sit later on. That looks pretty neat, doesn't it? All right. I'm going to do Command-A because that's going to select all the things on my screen again, and then I'm going to hit Group. Cool. Let's repeat that process now by selecting this entire lot, pressing Command-C and pressing Command-V. Now you'll notice that Canva will give you some guidelines here. See that little pink line through the middle? It's telling me that like this is where these two things line up in the center. All right, so at this point, I'm going to drop that. I'm going to press Command-A again and group the whole lot. And then I'm going to do that a whole bunch, okay? You'll see it on screen, but I'm going to speed through it so that you don't have to watch the entire process. We're going to select, copy, paste, move it into its place, group it all, and select, copy, paste, move it into its place over and over again until we have the desired look. I'll see you in just a few seconds. So the next step you can do now or you can do right at the start. I've grouped this whole lot now, all right? Now I could just move this off to the side because they're all grouped, and I can select the background, and I could go through and choose any color I want. Keeping in mind that Canva does give you colors to match your photo. You can either keep those or you might like to decide, yeah, that's pretty close to what I want, but I'd like a different shade. or you might choose a completely different color altogether. So I'm going to go with this pink today because why not? We also have the option here to rotate your pattern slightly if you'd like to. Might not be everybody's preference. I'm going to keep mine not completely straight, but not completely askew today. All right, so that's it. That's literally a repeat pattern. It just couldn't be more simple. It is a little bit time consuming as you're first learning it. But what we're going to do now is export this, okay? And I'm going to show you how I would use this on a sublimation mug and the quickest, easiest way to do it. So here we go. We're going to go to share and download. And Bright Star Crafters always suggest JPEG, full-size image, and we'll click download. Make sure that you check where you're saving your file, or you might not be able to find it later. I'm going to save mine in downloads so that I can delete the image a little bit later on. So I'm just going to call this step and repeat. Okay, and save it. All right. So now we have our step and repeat pattern there. I'm just going to go down here and add a page. I'm going to delete the background by selecting it and hitting delete. And I've got this white background. So what's the next step now? How do we utilize that pattern to create something like this? Well, it's actually much easier than you think. So let's go in and have a look here. What we're going to do is we're going to use a template that has been created previously. You will have access to these. We'll share the link below or in the comments section or in the product description. You'll be able to find this link, no doubt. What we're going to do is in here, you'll find that we've actually got a bunch of files that are, well, a bunch of masks, basically. Canva call them grids. You can search for these in Canva's search bar over here, but we have chosen to set these up for you already. This is the exact size that you need for the Bright Star Crafters sublimation mug. Don't forget you can use sublimation mugs for adhesive vinyl as well, but as you will have seen on our very popular Facebook group, the sublimation mug is one heck of an exciting thing to have a try at. So let's use this template here today. Command C. I'm just copying it. I've clicked on it and I've copied it. And now I'm going to go into this section here and I'm going to hit paste. Command V for me. So we have this, Photoshop would call this a mask. In Canva, it's called a grid, okay? Don't confuse this with a frame. What makes this different is that you can change the shape of it. A frame you can't change the shape of, you can change only the size of. All right, so this is our first one. What we're going to do is we're going to find our file that we just exported. And there it is there, step and repeat. I'm going to drag it into my canvas. It's going to take just a second to upload. All right, and I'm going to drop it inside of this template. Straight away, you can see that it's sat in there really, really nicely. I've got the option to make it a bit bigger. I can also look at changing it just a little bit size-wise. So there we go. I'm going to keep it like that. And what I've decided that I want to do for this is I am going to copy this exact thing here, best mum ever. So let's have a look. We will go text. I'm going to say best mum ever. Okay. Now let's go and choose a font. And let's have a look here. What font do we want today? We'll use this little cutie, I reckon. And we're going to just change the line spacing a little bit because it's a little bit sucky. Okay. And we've also got the option, by the way, to change some of the effects on this. You could put a bit of a shadow on it if you want. You can change the color of your font. And I think that that one looks pretty good. Now let's remember that a few things to take into account. The first one, of course, being that sublimation does not print white specifically. There's no white ink on sublimation paper. It's just not going to put any ink on your white sublimation cup in this section. You'll still get this little bit of a black outline under your text. On the edges of this template, this is actually the front and the back of your mug. This middle section of the template here will be directly opposite your mug handle. All right, Command C, Command V is what I want to do to duplicate this. Great. And, you know, looking at this, I'm thinking, how nice would it be if I had a couple of different versions of this? What if I want to change the background? Well, that's actually really easy. What you need to do is go back to your step and repeat, press Command A, just drag your step and repeat pattern out of the way for a second, choose your new color that you want. Okay. Pull your step and repeat pattern back in again, download it again as a JPEG. All right, and while that downloads, let's wait for this little save box to pop up. All right, we've called it Best Mum Ever 2, it's in downloads. And you know what I've done? I didn't select that I wanted to export just one page. So let me show you what that looks like, what happens. Now I have this zipped folder that I've got to open, and inside of it, it's going to contain both the bottom and the top image. We only want the top one. Okay, that's our step and repeat pattern. We're going to pop it in here. Fantastic. I'm going to move it off to the side for a minute. And then we're just going to duplicate this little cutie. So we'll select the mask, press Shift, select, Command C, Command V. Now we have a second version of it. I'm going to double click inside of here and delete that step and repeat. And I'm going to drag this step and repeat in. Cool, huh? It's pretty clever. And now I'm going to change this to Best Dad Ever. Okay. Great. And I think I might make a second version of this one for my mum. And I'm going to say Best Nan Ever. Now you'll notice that I've kept some white spaces between each of these. It's just to make it really easy for me to cut with my guillotine. And that's it, basically. Nan. Why wouldn't I cut this in my Cricut? Well, you know, I love my Cricut, but let's be completely honest here. If you don't have to pull it out, it's amazing. And that's one of the many things that I love about this new custom printed sublimation sheet and custom printed HTV and adhesive vinyl. You just don't need your Cricut anymore. It's unbelievable. All right, so that's it. We now have 3 mugs on one 12 by 12 sheet, and we're going to save this out and I'm going to show you how to upload it. Are you ready? Here we go. This time I'm going to make sure that I only download the second page because I just don't need the first one. If you want the first one as well, maybe you want to upload both sheets to Bright Star Crafters, that's totally fine. But in this particular instance, I'm just going to select page 2 and I'm going to hit download. All right. So while we wait, let's head over to Bright Star Crafters. Best Mum Ever. Okay. All right, so here we are. We've made something very similar to this just a few seconds ago. We're going to upload our image in here by selecting upload and upload. And I can see my file is just here. Best Mum Ever. Open. You can see it's uploading beautifully. JPEG or PNG are the 2 files that you can use. I don't need to zoom it. Thank you anyway. If I zoom it, guess what's going to happen? They're going to be too big for my mug. This is the exact size they need to be. There's a bit of blank space here. You could leave that blank, or if you wanted to, you could add in some extra bits and pieces of sublimation designs for other things that you want to sublimate on. I've just kept mine blank to just keep it sort of neat and tidy. Now, I don't need to rotate it, but guess what? I do need to flip it because with sublimation transfers, they have to print backwards in order for them to transfer properly the right way around. It's very difficult to grasp until you see it, but I promise you, please make sure to flip and mirror every bit of sublimation that you do. So we could see it's backwards, especially for text. It's super important that you flip or mirror it. All right, and we're done. So I'm going to hit that. Now, my final tip for the day is I always make sure I get 2 or 3 of everything because I never get it right the first time, pretty much ever. So I'm going to select 3 and we're going to click I agree that I own this image and I'm going to add it to cart. All right, and here we go. Here is my custom sublimation transfer. How exciting. That's it. Thank you very much. I'm going to hit view cart now. You could see that we just pay here. If you want to remove it, you can just hit remove just like this. It's very, very simple. But you're not going to want to remove it because guess what? You are going to have a wonderful time crafting. So do yourself a favor. Get into Canva, create yourself a step and repeat pattern, upload it to Bright Star Crafters, and craft something you love. You're going to slice your sublimation transfer using a sliding ruler, guillotine, or pair of scissors. Wrap it around your mug to make sure that your design fits, and then tape it securely to your mug with some heat transfer tape. Cut yourself some baking paper and wrap it around your mug to protect your heat press while your mug is in there. Slide it in, keep it nice and centered, and then close it up nice and tight. Perfect, that's it. While we wait, go and get yourself some gloves because your mug will be ready soon. Pull your mug from the mug press. Peel back your sublimation transfer and ta-da! Your design is revealed. Doesn't it look amazing? Sublimation is truly magical, isn't it? And that's it. It's really super simple. Look at that glossy finish.